If you've spent the last few months downloading AI tools, watching tutorial after tutorial, trying to figure out how people are actually making money with AI, but you still feel like you're going around in circles, I don't think the problem is the tools. Honestly, I think most of us have been asking the wrong question. Instead of asking, which AI tool should I learn next? I've started asking myself, what am I actually trying to build? That one question changed the way I look at AI. And by the end of this video, I want to share 3 questions I now ask before I even open ChatGPT. I'll also show you a simple way of thinking about AI. That's made everything feel a lot less overwhelming. But first, let me tell you how I learned this the slow way. Hey, I'm Roll. When AI really started taking off, I was probably like a lot of people. Every week there was another tool everyone was talking about. This one writes better. This one builds websites. This one replaces your whole team. And every time I watched one of those videos, I had the same thought. Maybe this is the one I'm missing. So I'd sign up, watch the tutorials, try a few prompts, play around for a while, and then move on to the next one. Looking back, I wasn't actually building anything. I was just getting really good at collecting tools. And here's the funny part. The tools weren't the problem. Most of them were actually pretty good. ChatGPT worked. Claude worked. The website builders worked. The image tools worked. So one day I stopped and asked myself, if all these tools work, why don't I have much to show for it? That question bothered me, but it also turned out to be one of the most useful questions I've asked, because the answer had nothing to do with AI. It had everything to do with how I was thinking about it. If you're somewhere in that same place, I think this might save you a lot of wasted weekends. Let me see if this sounds familiar. A new AI tool comes out. Everyone is talking about it, constantly. Your YouTube feed fills up with videos saying, "This changes everything. Don't get left behind. You need this tool." So you decide to give it a go and see what happens. Maybe you even pay for the premium version because you don't want to fall behind. For a few days, it feels productive. You're writing, creating, experimenting. You feel busy, but the question is, are you actually moving forward? But then, life settles down. You look back after a week or two, and not much has really changed. You still don't have a clear business. You're still not completely sure who you're trying to help. And you're still wondering what the next step should be. So naturally, you start looking for another tool. I don't think that's because we're lazy. I think it's because the tool is the easiest thing to blame. It's visible. You can uninstall it, replace it, upgrade it. A missing business process is different. You can't fix that by downloading something new. And that's the part I completely missed when I started. Here's what finally started making sense to me. I stopped looking at AI as the starting point. I started looking at it as the helper. That sounds like a small change, but for me, it changed almost everything. Because every business, whether it's online or not, is really just a collection of jobs that need doing. Someone has to understand the customer. Someone has to create something useful. Someone has to explain why it matters. Someone has to earn trust. And eventually, someone has to make the sale and look after the customer. Those jobs have always existed. AI didn't invent them, and AI won't replace the need for them. What AI does really well is help us do some of those jobs faster. So instead of asking, what can this tool do? I started asking, which part of my work could this help me do better? That one question cut through a lot of the noise, because I stopped looking for the best AI tool and started looking for the right tool for the job I already had. Imagine 2 people open ChatGPT, both want to create a YouTube video. The first person types, "Write me a YouTube script about AI." Nothing wrong with that, but it's pretty broad. Now the second person writes this instead. "Write a YouTube script for people over 40 who feel overwhelmed by AI. Help them understand why business systems matter before tools. Keep it practical, end with one action they can take today." Same AI, same model, completely different result. Why? It wasn't because one person knew some secret prompt. It was because one person knew what they were trying to achieve before they started typing. That's a lesson I wish I'd learned earlier. AI is only as useful as the direction you give it. Here's something worth trying. The next time you're about to open ChatGPT, don't type anything straight away. Give yourself 30 seconds. Seriously, just 30. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, what am I actually trying to achieve? Not, what do I want AI to do? What's the outcome? A video? An email? A landing page? A customer conversation? Start there. Second, who is this for? This one matters more than I realized. Because businesses don't exist to create content. They exist to help people solve problems. If you don't know who you're helping, AI can't fill in that blank for you. Third, what happens after this? Let's say AI writes you a brilliant blog post. Now what? Does the reader subscribe? Download something? Book a call? Watch another video? If there isn't a next step, the content might still be good. It just isn't helping your business move forward. That was a hard lesson for me. I spent a lot of time creating things without thinking about what those things were meant to do. The same thing happens with websites. AI website builders are genuinely impressive now. You answer a few questions, pick a style, and a few minutes later, you've got something that looks really professional. But here's the question I ask now. If someone lands on that homepage, can they figure out 3 things almost immediately? What do you do? Who do you help? What's the next step? If the answer is no, changing the colors, switching templates, or rebuilding the whole thing with another AI tool probably won't fix it. The tool already did its job. It built a website. The real question is whether that website supports your business. Those are 2 different things. I've realized I have a habit. Whenever I feel uncertain, I'm tempted to learn another tool. Maybe you've done the same. It feels productive because you're learning. But learning isn't always the same as moving forward. Sometimes the most useful thing isn't another tutorial. It's sitting down with a notebook and asking, what's the next problem I actually need to solve? I've found that when I can answer that question, choosing the AI tool becomes surprisingly easy. So if AI isn't where we start, what does the starting point actually look like? That's what I've been working on, and it's much simpler than I expected. Let's walk through it. Perfect. So, where do you actually start? By now you might be thinking, all right, I get it. Don't start with a tool. So where do I start? I've been asking myself that same question, and the more I've thought about it, the simpler the answer has become. The first rule is simple: don't start with AI. Start with the work you're trying to do. There's a tendency online to make business sound complicated. Think about all those funnels and automations, dozens and dozens of software subscriptions, and all those huge complex flowcharts. But if you're just trying to build your first real online business, I don't think you need to start there. I think you need 4 things. Step 1, know who you're helping. This sounds basic, maybe too basic. I used to skip over this part because I wanted to get into the interesting stuff. The AI, the content, and the tools. But the more I learn, the more I realize this question quietly affects almost every decision you make afterwards. Who are you trying to help? Not everyone. One type of person. For me, it's someone who's curious about AI, wants to build something online, but feels like every week there's another tool, another opinion, another rabbit hole. If that's you, you're exactly who I'm making these videos for. Once that became clear to me, coming up with video ideas actually became easier, because I wasn't trying to speak to everyone anymore. I was speaking to one person. Step 2, solve one problem well. Here's something I've noticed. A lot of us think we need to teach everything we know. I used to think that too. But when I look at the creators, I keep coming back to, they usually solve one problem at a time. That's all they're trying to do. One question, one lesson, one next step. This video is a good example. I'm not trying to teach you everything about AI. I'm just trying to answer one question. Why do so many people feel stuck, even after trying all these AI tools? If you can answer one real problem well, people remember that. Step 3, build a simple process. This is probably the biggest mindset shift I've had. Businesses don't grow because they have lots of tools. They grow because they have a process. Think about your favorite cafe. You probably don't notice the process, you just order your coffee. But behind the counter, there's a sequence. Orders come in, coffee gets made, payment gets processed, customers get served. If everyone did those jobs in a random order, it wouldn't matter how good the coffee machine was. The process is what makes everything work. Online business is the same. Someone discovers your content. They learn something useful. They begin to trust you. Maybe they join your email list. Maybe they buy something. Maybe they recommend you to a friend. AI can help with almost every one of those steps, but it can't decide what the steps should be. That's still our job. Step 4, choose the tool. Now, and only now, does it make sense to think about AI? Because now you're not asking, what's the best AI tool? You're asking, what's the best tool for this job? That's a completely different question, and I've found it leads to much better decisions. Some days I open ChatGPT, some days I use Claude. Some days I open ChatGPT, some days I use Claude. Sometimes I don't need AI at all, because the tool isn't leading the work anymore. The work is leading the tool. That one change has probably saved me more time than learning any new prompt ever has. Before we finish, there's one thing I'd like to leave you with. If you've spent the last few months feeling like you're behind, I understand. I think a lot of people do. AI moves fast. Every week there's another headline, another launch, another video telling you this changes everything. The truth is, none of us can keep up with everything, and I don't think we need to. I'd rather understand a handful of tools really well than spend all my time chasing the next one. More importantly, I'd rather spend my time understanding people, because tools will change, the way we solve problems will change, but people will still want someone who understands what they're trying to achieve and can help them get there. I don't think that's going away anytime soon, and that's really where this channel is heading. Yes, we'll keep talking about AI, we'll test tools, we'll share what works. But I also want to spend time understanding how online businesses are actually built. One lesson at a time, one discovery at a time. Because that's the journey I'm on too. I'm not here because I've got everything figured out. I'm here because I think asking better questions leads to better businesses. And if you're interested in figuring that out alongside me, I think we're going to have some really good conversations. In the next video, I'm going to show you the simple business framework I've been building around. Nothing complicated, just the sequence that's helping me decide what to work on first and where AI naturally fits into it. Once I started looking at business that way, a lot of the noise started disappearing. I think it might do the same for you. If today's video gave you a different way of thinking about AI, I'd love to hear from you. Just leave the word system in the comments. And while you're there, tell me one AI tool you were really excited about, but hardly use anymore. I'm genuinely interested because those comments help shape the next videos I make. If this is the kind of conversation you're looking for, consider subscribing. Not because I have all the answers, but because every week we'll work through another piece of the puzzle together. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.